Hey everybody. So today we're going to take a hard look at Uber driver and Lyft driver pay. What Uber drivers are being paid is, for a lack of a better term, we're just going to say that sometimes it's absolutely ridiculous. Now, I'm not going to say that every single time that we get a ride offer that it's ridiculous, but lately it seems like, and granted this is summertime, so maybe there's a lot more drivers on the road because you have people like teachers that tend to drive during the summer during their off hours because they're not in school, so they have the summer off. You have college students that come home and they drive for Uber, they do DoorDash, they do Instacart, they do all these things. So this is probably as much of a product of driver and I guess worker saturation in the market. And I think that probably drives down the price. And, but that's a problem. Okay. And one of the biggest things, I don't think it was the law of unintended consequences. Several years ago, you had drivers all up in arms that they needed to know how much they were going to be paid for a ride before they would take a ride. So that led to the upfront pricing. And upfront pricing, in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, I think it's been a disaster. Okay. There is no doubt about it. I think it's been a huge disaster. I think that both Uber and Lyft and all these other gig app companies quickly realized that with upfront pricing that they were still going to have the orders and the rides fulfilled, okay? And they were going to be able to farm out the ride to as many drivers as possible in the area, okay? And that somebody would take it. And they call this what the fair market value of that ride is. You'll hear people who work for the company say that's the fair market value of the ride. But I'm sorry, when you see rides for $2.80, $4.80, $5.10, when you see these kind of rides, I don't care how short the distance to pickup is and how short the distance to drop off is. Unless that passenger is standing right next to my car and gets in the driver's side, scoots over and gets out the passenger side, for $5.10, $2.80, $3 and whatever cents, it's not worth it. A driver cannot do enough of those $3 to $4 rides, $5 rides, whatever it is, below, I would say below $6. A driver can generally not do enough of those in a 1 hour time period to even cover minimum wage. And we're not even talking about the costs and the risks to the vehicle that is most likely their own. Okay. So when you see these rides that are coming in, and I don't want to be the angry Uber driver, because that's not me. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I enjoy driving Uber. I enjoy driving Lyft. But it is very difficult when you get these, I don't even know what to call them, horrible offers, let's just say. When you get these horrible offers that, these companies tend to take out or send out to drivers. And I think that they do it because they realize a lot of drivers are desperate for rides. They're desperate to make money. They feel like they can manipulate the market price because of the amount of drivers. Both Uber and Lyft have gone to the match request rides for the most part, where they are offering these rides at different prices to different drivers. And I just feel like that this whole upfront pricing has allowed them to really take advantage of drivers and to, and that with the market being saturated, it helps them even more, where they really, in my opinion, can manipulate the system and offer the lowest ride possible to each and every driver that may be in an area. Okay, and they're bound. They only got to be one. They only got to be right one time, and it's one of those things where they're going to offer that ride. They may offer it to 3, 4, 5 drivers or more. Okay, and then all of a sudden, one of those drivers is going to take it, and they only have to be right one time. Okay, that's all they have to do. They have to be right one time, and they win. Plain and simple. I feel like a good solution would be to go back to the way it used to work. Have a rate card, okay? Rate cards were fair. Plain and simple, you got paid a base rate for a ride. That base rate ranged, depending on if you were doing Uber X all the way to, Uber Black and Uber Black SUV. That base rate kind of varied from each car. So, that base rate may only be $1.50 for Uber X, but then you're getting time and you're getting distance. Okay. So it would be the total price of the ride that the driver would get paid would be the base rate, time that it took to do the ride, and the mileage. And they would multiply everything they needed to multiply, then add it all together, and that was your pay for the ride. The reason why I feel like that's a better system is, number one, it's fair, okay? And it's fair in the sense that everybody's being paid equally. You don't have one driver who might be being paid more because of whatever reason that Uber or Lyft comes up with. Now, I'm sure some of you will say, yeah, but what about driving to the passenger, Look, if you choose to drive 8 miles to pick somebody up, that's on you, the driver, okay? And we've all done it. I've done it before, and I still do it from time to time, where I drive a long distance to pick someone up. Generally, back in the day, when you had to drive further to pick someone up, Lyft didn't usually do this, but Uber almost always compensated for that, okay? And this could all, especially now with artificial intelligence and how the algorithm works, this could all be accounted for very easily, and it could be, you could receive, they might want to pay you. Uber might want to pay you a little bit more if you have to drive more than 3, 4, 5 miles to pick somebody up. I think they would be smart if they did that. But Uber is, let's be honest, they're not always smart, but they do tend to always win, don't they? So, back to the rate card system, I really think that Uber drivers would be smart to want to go back to the rate card system, simply because I think we would see an increase in pay, because with the upfront fare, they're able to offer you, and one of the things I noticed throughout the day, because I drive Uber X, Uber Comfort, and Uber XL. For the most part, they're not paying you the same difference that they used to pay you from Uber X to Uber Comfort and from Uber X to Uber XL. They're generally paying you almost the same amount of money. They may bump it a little tiny bit here and there, but not like they used to. And I'll give you an example. I'm not going to show, ride screen grabs and all that. Choose to believe me, don't believe me. But a ride used to on XL from Annapolis to BWI, which ranges in mileage anywhere from, let's say, 24, 25 miles up to, depending on what part of Annapolis they're in, all the way up to 30 miles. That ride on XL used to consistently pay, depending on the miles, easily $52 to all the way up to $67. Sometimes it might even be a little bit more if you had a surge. That same ride now on XL is consistently in the high 30s, 38, 39, up to about 42. Every once in a while, you may see a reservation ride that's a little bit more. And that's another thing. Reservation rides used to pay a lot better too. I mean, a reservation ride in general always had at least a $10 reservation fee attached to it. But generally on XL, it was $15. On Uber Comfort, it was $15. And then Uber X was usually right around $10. Lately, I had a reservation ride. The reservation fee was 1 penny. 1 cent, okay? And it's just, at the end of the day, I feel like Uber and Lyft are just throwing drivers scraps. That's what they're doing, is they're sprinkling the scraps on the ground in a trail right to a passenger, okay? And a lot of us, including me, we're all guilty of it. We're taking these rides, okay? Let's be honest. Somebody has got to be taking these rides. And like I said, if Uber and Lyft have 5 to 10 drivers in an area, okay, they only need one driver to take that ride, and they win. So you're asking yourself, okay, well, what is the solution to this problem? I mean, I think there's probably several solutions. I don't know if any of them will come to fruition or not. One of the solutions would be for drivers not to take the ride. I don't think that's going to happen, because we all need to make money. We all need to go out there and work, and we all have costs to cover and things of that nature. And I'm not blaming drivers. It's not drivers' fault, plain and simple, okay? But what we really have to do is start to realize is that we are not victims. We have a lot of power. We can organize, we can group together, organize, create unions. Even though we don't, in a lot of states, we don't have that collective bargaining right. There's a few states that do, and that will start to spread. But I think our best bet for real change with Uber and Lyft is probably through legislation, okay? So at some point, I think drivers really need to organize and look for lobbyists. And here's the problem: is it's never going to be cheap. Okay, it's never going to be cheap. A solution to this is never going to be cheap. And it's one of those things where, let's say drivers do organize, and we do hire lobbyists, and we do, lobby for legislation. These legislators, they know how the game is played. They're never going to pass a law in the first session that it's introduced. They're never going to pass a bill, the first 1 or 2 sessions that it's available, because the reason is because they want that lobbyist to keep spending money and to keep trying to influence them and to convince them that the bill that they want to propose is the correct bill or the right bill or a good bill. And it's one of those things where, I don't want to sit there and say politicians are crooked or anything like that, but I feel like they've learned how to, I guess for lack of a better term, maybe manipulate the situation and drag it out as long as possible, so that, lobbyists are spending money, whining and dining, doing all these things to, hopefully educate them, we'll say, and gain their vote, that it's good for their constituents and all that jazz. But they're not dumb. So we are fighting an uphill battle. There's no doubt about it. But, I think it is a battle that we could probably fight and eventually win. Okay. Now, whether we win before Uber and Lyft replace all of us with robo-taxis and autonomous vehicles, I don't know. I think that those autonomous vehicles are on the verge, but I think you're starting to see some pushback in some places. They're having some issues. Every time you turn around, they're either going around school buses, they're driving through fireworks, they're, driving through crime scenes, they're doing all kinds of goofy stuff. So, it might be a thing where those autonomous vehicles, they might not be as close as we think. So anyway, if you could drop a comment, let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what you think. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, I'd really appreciate it. And if you could share the video on whatever other social media that you're on, whether it be Facebook or X or whatever it may be, that would be greatly appreciated also. And I will see everybody in the next video. All right, go out and make some money, and I hope everybody has a safe and good day. Thanks again.